Hello and welcome back to CM Rankings and Interviews, and today I thought I would rank all the Marvel movies and MCU shows. I wasn't planning on doing the shows, but then this tier list had both WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought I would include them, but after Loki's done, I will just be ranking the MCU shows. Loki, of course, is not on here because it is not yet done. So I have about 26 things to rank. Let's stop talking. It's a lot to get into. But before we get into that, please hit the subscribe button. It's really easy. Doesn't take much, and it really helps my channel out. So here we have 4 tiers: amazing, great, good, and meh. There was a bad tier on this list, but I took it off because there are no bad MCU movies or shows. There's just weaker movies because every movie in the MCU has redeeming qualities, whether it's how it's shot, the cinematography, the score, the music, the acting. It's just to the level of, like, say, in Endgame, it wouldn't be as good. But without further ado, let's get into this, starting off with Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think it's pretty underrated. I think that it definitely deserves more praise than it gets. Would I say amazing tier? No, but it is top 10 MCU tier for me, just not amazing tier. I do really love Ant-Man and the Wasp. The first Ant-Man, I think, is fine. I think it's just good. I wouldn't say that it's the greatest MCU movie. It definitely has its moments, but I don't think it's very rewatchable. I've only seen it like 3 times, but I don't feel like it's that rewatchable. That is why it comes in the good tier. Next, Avengers Age of Ultron. It's another good movie. I don't find anything particularly great about Age of Ultron. When I first watched it, I thought it was better than the first one, but on rewatch, it kind of bores me in parts, and it just doesn't feel like the original Avengers. It just doesn't feel like an Avengers movie. It feels more like a Captain America movie. It just doesn't feel like the best, and that's why it comes in the good. Again, it has redeeming qualities, just not great redeeming. Endgame, amazing. Endgame used to be my favorite movie of all time, and then I remember I liked another MCU movie better, but Endgame is almost a perfect movie in my opinion, whether it's the story, the time traveling, the fun sequences, seeing characters that died and seeing them return. It's just a fun movie. Plus, the third act is probably the best action battle I've ever seen in a movie. And the end credits, I know it's not like a big thing, but the end credits are pretty good as well. So, next we have Avengers Infinity War. Avengers Infinity War is also going on the amazing tier. I think that Avengers Infinity War is great. I honestly do. I really, really, really love Avengers Infinity War. This was actually the first. No, this is my second MCU movie I've ever seen. The first one was Black Panther, but Infinity War is great. I think this is the Avengers movie that handles the Avengers the best. Even though Captain America and Black Widow aren't in it a lot, I think the stuff with the Guardians, Thor, Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, I think all that works. And it also gave us the best villain of all time, Thanos. Black Panther, I'll put it in the great tier. I think what Black Panther did was really great. It got nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. I really do enjoy Black Panther. I think it's a great movie. In the world of Wakanda, the characters, it's just such a thematically rich movie, and I can't help but like rewatch it every now and then. Black Widow, for me, it's also going on the great tier. I really did enjoy Black Widow. I really thought it worked extremely well. I thought the family dynamic worked really good, and I know that might be a problem for a lot of people, but that was my favorite part of Black Widow. I think Scarlett Johansson does a great job as a character. I think Florence Pugh and David Harbour are by far the best parts, though. They way outweigh, I'd say, Scarlett Johansson. I'd really watch a David Harbour Red Guardian movie like that. Like I would like stop everything I'm doing and watch it. That's how much I loved his character. Captain America Civil War is also going in the great. I wouldn't say it's an amazing movie. I would say it's a great movie. I'm saving the amazing tier for my absolute favorite MCU movies, but it's still a great movie. And I really, really enjoy the whole Civil War, fighting in the family kind of a thing. I really, really do love actually Civil War. The first Avengers, meh. Um, you know, actually, I'll put it in the good. I don't think it's meh. It's good. I think that the whole World War stuff works really well in this movie. I think the kind of rustic, old nostalgia kind of feel of this movie really helps it. But the third act sucks. I'm just going to straight up say it. The third act sucks. I do not like the third act. I thought the first the first 2/3 I really enjoyed. The last act I just got bored and it just lost me. And the MCU movies do have quite a few problems with third acts. I think that Black Widow also suffers from that. But what are you going to do? Captain America the Winter Soldier is an amazing movie. I absolutely love The Winter Soldier. I think it is probably the darkest and most mature MCU movie. There's very little humor in here. There is humor, but there's not much. And I think that really works in its favor because it can go darker. I'm not saying every MCU movie should be dark because then what's the fun? But Captain America the Winter Soldier is a political thriller and I really enjoy it. Captain Marvel's going on the mat tier. Might be my least favorite MCU movie. I recently rewatched it because I was going to do a Captain Marvel versus Black Widow video. Tell me down below if you still want that video, but I might not do that video now. On rewatch, I still have the same opinions on it. It's not that good of a movie. I mean, it is a good movie, but compared to the standards of the MCU, no means is this below a 5 out of 10. By no means. It's still a great movie. I mean, it's a good movie, but it has its problems. Doctor Strange is going on the good tier. I think that the visuals far outweigh the story. I think the visuals are so cool, but the story just like copies and pastes Tony Stark's from the first Iron Man. Guardians of the Galaxy. Oof. I'm putting this on the great tier. And I'll also just put Guardians 2 on the great tier. I think that these two movies are probably the funniest movies in the MCU, the best team dynamics. Dare I say they're better? It's a better team dynamic than in the Avengers. I absolutely love these movies. I think they're hilarious. I think they're great. I think the action, the space battles, I think everything's great. I know people say Guardians 2 is worse than the first one, and I'd agree with that. Over time, I've started to like the first better than the second. Iron Man 2 is also going in the meh tier. Not great compared to the other MCU movies, but it still has its redeeming moments. When I first watched it, I'm pretty sure in old MCU rankings it was in my top 10, but now it's not. Because on rewatch, it was boring and it was kind of trying to balance too much in such little time, and it just didn't work. Iron Man 3. Also going on the meh tier. I don't really like the Iron Man 3. I've watched it like once and I don't feel like ever rewatching it again. I probably will just to, get into probably for Ironheart when that comes out, just binge watch the Iron Man movies. But Iron Man 3 I'm fine with the Mandarin twist, but it just overall it doesn't work for me. I think Pepper Potts does a good job. Happy Hogan's definitely hilarious as ever, but overall it's just not that good in my opinion. Iron Man's going on the good tier. I know this is going to be controversial, but I just don't feel like Iron Man lives up to all the hype. I did not watch this in the theater when it first came out, so I don't have that nostalgia. I know that it kicked off the MCU, and that is great because it kicked off my favorite franchise by far of all time, but it just doesn't work. I think it feels dated, even though it only came out like not too long ago at all, about 13 years ago. But it just doesn't work really that well in my opinion. I think the acting, other than Robert Downey Jr., is like decent at best. So I'm not a big fan of Iron Man. I still love it, but it's just I'm not a big fan of it. Spider-Man Far From Home also going in the great tier. I really love Spider-Man Far From Home. I think it is probably the most on first watch, probably the most confusing because I wasn't 100% paying attention on first watch, but on second viewings, I loved it. I thought the whole, I was going to say Mysterio, the whole Mysterio thing, I thought worked extremely well. And I think Nick Fury is at his best in this movie. Homecoming, I'll put on the good tier. You know what? I'll just, shoot. I'm debating whether I should put it on the great tier or the good. I'll put on the good because I don't think it. Yeah, I think it deserves to be on the good tier. This movie is really great. I love this movie on first viewings, but after a while, I kind of got sick of it. Maybe that's my own fault because I do think it is a good movie, but I just kind of, it's not that rewatchable in my opinion, which I know might be controversial, but it's just not that rewatchable. But I still really, really enjoy Spider-Man Homecoming. The Avengers, not going to say anything about that. Favorite movie of all time, don't really want to get into it. It's just a perfect movie all around. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm debating whether I should put it on good or meh. I'm going to put it on good. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm just going to move Ant-Man. I'll just move Ant-Man up because I do think that Ant-Man, on second thought, deserves to be in the great tier. But the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is decent. I wasn't a big fan of it. Didn't love it as much as WandaVision. I'm currently rewatching WandaVision. I tweeted about this a while ago, but maybe I will like Falcon and Winter Soldier better on rewatch. I don't think I will. I just don't think it holds up. It's very formulaic MCU, which I know a lot of people were looking forward to, like the most. Like a lot of people had this on their like most anticipated Disney Plus show, but it disappointed because after WandaVision, it just is nothing basically. It just feels like every other, like it feels like the Winter Soldier, but the Winter Soldier does it way better. Incredible Hulk, meh. It's good. It's fine. You know what? I'll put the Incredible Hulk on the good tier. Basically for Ty Burrell, Tim Roth. I mean, you got some great actors in here, given some good performances. I really do love the Incredible Hulk. Not as good as Iron Man, but I do think it is still probably like my third favorite, maybe Phase 1 movie of the Avengers being my favorite. Thor is also a good good movie. There's so many just good MCU movies. There's not that many great or amazing. But, what are you going to do? Because Thor is awesome. I think that the whole Asgard thing I think Asgard looks the best in this movie. And it just works. The movie's fun. It's not the best MCU movie, though. Thor Ragnarok is going in the amazing tier. I could endlessly rewatch this movie. It's hilarious. Hulk does it. Mark Ruffalo's awesome. Chris Hemsworth, great. Thor the Dark World also goes in the meh tier. I don't think it's as bad as people give it hate for. The villain is the worst part by far. WandaVision. I'll put WandaVision in the great tier. I really, really enjoyed WandaVision. I thought the week-to-week speculation was amazing. The acting was like the best the MCU has ever seen. I just thought it was so fun and so great. So, guys, there is my list. They are not ranked. They are just put into tiers. We have the amazing tier with Endgame, Infinity War, Winter Soldier, Avengers, and Ragnarok. The great tier has Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man, Black Panther, Black Widow, Captain America Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Far From Home, WandaVision. The good tier, Age of Ultron, The First Avenger, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Homecoming, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Incredible Hulk, Thor. The meh tier, again, not bad movies, just they're okay. Captain Marvel, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, and Thor the Dark World. So there you have it. There's my MCU ranking.